Those who succeed do not hesitate to use any means necessary to achieve their goals. Niccolò Machiavelli, one of the most renowned thinkers of the Renaissance, was keenly aware of this harsh reality. He observed that people who act immorally and unscrupulously often thrive in life, accumulating wealth and power despite societal moral standards. This may seem frustrating, as we grow up believing that justice must prevail, that the good will be rewarded, and that the wicked will get what they deserve. However, real life tells a different story, one that suggests the world is far more complex than we might like to believe. Machiavelli argued that those who are willing to cross moral boundaries inevitably gain an advantage over those who adhere to traditional values and principles. Understanding this logic provides us with a deeper insight into the world we live in, one that is stripped of comforting illusions. To truly grasp the nature of power, Machiavelli encouraged a closer examination of the mechanisms that genuinely govern human behavior. Machiavelli is one of the most misunderstood thinkers in history. Many view him as a champion of evil, but in reality, he was a pragmatist who sought to understand the world as it is, rather than how it ought to be according to moral ideals. His primary focus was effectiveness, not ideal virtue. In his treatise, The Prince, he argued that traditional morality often becomes an obstacle on the path to success and power. According to Machiavelli, those willing to lie, manipulate, and step over others in pursuit of their goals have a significant advantage. Why? Because the real world is not a fairy tale where justice always prevails. Machiavelli emphasized that a successful leader must be practical rather than virtuous. This is why he famously stated, "The ends justify the means," implying that to achieve great goals, whether conquering territories or building a successful career, one might need to resort to methods society considers immoral. However, his perspective does not glorify wrongdoing. Instead, it highlights an inconvenient truth. Those who are less constrained by morality tend to act more swiftly and decisively. A crucial aspect of Machiavellian philosophy is the recognition that individuals with fewer moral constraints are less prone to hesitation and self-doubt. Unlike those who experience guilt, fear of harming others, or remorse, unscrupulous individuals move forward without hesitation. They perceive the world as a chessboard, where every action is an opportunity to advance their objectives. Their cold calculation and strategic mindset give them a significant edge over others. Machiavelli argued that an effective leader should strive not to be loved and approved by others, but to be feared, because fear is a tool that can be controlled. In business, politics, and daily life, we often see how those who do not hesitate to manipulate, deceive, and exploit others tend to rise to the top. These individuals are not bound by traditional moral values, making them ruthlessly efficient. However, this raises a critical question. Is such success sustainable, and what is the true cost of achieving it? One key factor that distinguishes those who succeed, even through questionable means, is their ability to act with virtue and handle fortuna, two fundamental concepts introduced by Niccolò Machiavelli in The Prince. Contrary to modern interpretations, virtue in Machiavelli's philosophy does not mean moral virtue, but rather a combination of skill, boldness, intelligence, and adaptability. It is the quality that allows a leader, or anyone ambitious, to shape circumstances to their advantage. Think of virtue as the ability to perceive situations without illusions and to act pragmatically to achieve the best possible outcome. A person with virtue is not confined by rigid moral codes. They are flexible, bold, and strategic. They understand that winning sometimes requires breaking conventional rules. This is where unscrupulous individuals excel. They act with cold calculation and intelligence, bending the rules and manipulating those around them with precision. They know when to strike, when to retreat, and when to manipulate situations to their benefit, adapting without hesitation to whatever reality demands. Machiavelli uses a powerful metaphor to illustrate the essence of virtue. An effective leader must be both a lion and a fox. The lion symbolizes strength and majesty, the ability to command respect and inspire fear, to defend one's position with force when necessary. The fox, on the other hand, represents cunning, the ability to evade traps and deceive when circumstances require. Those who thrive through manipulation master this duality. They understand when to assert dominance and when to act with subtlety, ensuring their goals are achieved without raising suspicion. However, virtue alone is not enough to guarantee success. There is another crucial element that influences outcomes: fortuna, or fortune. For Machiavelli, fortuna represents life's unpredictable events: luck, chance, unexpected opportunities, and crises. He believed that while fortune shapes about half of our lives, the other half depends entirely on our actions. This is where unscrupulous individuals have an advantage. They seize opportunities without hesitation, taking bold risks while others remain cautious. Those who are unbound by moral constraints are often better equipped to handle fortuna. They seize opportunities with confidence and courage, while ethical individuals hesitate, worrying about consequences and moral implications. The unscrupulous act without delay, shaping the chaos around them to their advantage. Machiavelli compares fortuna to a river that floods after a storm, uncontrolled and capable of destruction. However, a person with virtue does not allow themselves to be swept away. Instead, they harness the river's power, channeling it to serve their goals. This blend of virtue and the ability to manage fortuna is what gives the unscrupulous a strategic edge. They not only take advantage of opportunities as they arise, but also create their own, using boldness and adaptability to navigate uncertainty. As Machiavelli observed, fortune favors the bold. Those who dare to take risks, act swiftly, and adapt to shifting circumstances, even if it means stepping over others. However, there is a catch. Fortuna is unpredictable. Those who rely solely on luck and manipulation must be prepared for the inevitable moment when fortune turns against them. This raises an essential question. Can such prosperity be sustained in the long run, or will it all come crashing down when luck runs out? If there is one common trait among those who thrive through malice and ruthless pragmatism, it is emotional coldness. While many of us are paralyzed by guilt, remorse, or shame when contemplating the consequences of our actions, these individuals move forward without hesitation. Imagine a surgeon performing a delicate operation. They must remain precise, calculating, and emotionally detached to save a life. Now, envision someone applying this same cold precision, not to heal, but to manipulate and dominate others. This is the mindset of those who act unscrupulously. They operate their lives like a surgeon wields a scalpel, with precision and complete emotional detachment. While ethical and empathetic people hesitate, deliberate, and become paralyzed by moral dilemmas, the unscrupulous see the world as it is, a battlefield where survival and victory are the only goals that matter. This absence of guilt or shame provides them with a significant advantage. They do not waste time worrying about what others think, nor do they dwell on the repercussions of their actions. If lying, deceiving, or sacrificing others is necessary to achieve their goals, they do it without second thoughts. One of the most powerful tools in their arsenal is the ability to manipulate others while remaining emotionally unaffected themselves. This strategic coldness allows them to exploit people's emotions while keeping their own in check. They know exactly what to say, when to say it, and how to act to elicit desired reactions from those around them. It is like a poker player with an unreadable expression, expertly deceiving their opponents while always staying in control of the game. This emotional detachment grants them the ability to shape the environment to their advantage, influencing decisions and orchestrating outcomes in their favor. However, as effective as this approach may be, it comes with significant risks. Machiavelli himself warned that while a leader can rule through fear, they must avoid being universally hated. Accumulating too many enemies and fostering resentment can be likened to building a house on quicksand. It may stand for a while, but it is bound to collapse under its own weight. Moreover, living without guilt or empathy carries a hidden cost that is often overlooked. True relationships, inner peace, and a genuine sense of fulfillment are nearly impossible to achieve when life is built solely on manipulation and self-interest. While the unscrupulous may appear powerful and successful on the surface, they often lead lives filled with loneliness, paranoia, and a constant fear of betrayal. Machiavelli understood this delicate balance. He believed that power, once achieved, must be maintained carefully, with a blend of fear and calculated generosity. Without this balance, even the most cunning individuals risk their own downfall. The question remains, can a life driven solely by ambition and manipulation truly lead to lasting fulfillment, or will it ultimately leave behind nothing but emptiness? While the unscrupulous may climb the highest peaks, they do so at the expense of their own humanity, and in the end, hollow victories can weigh heavier than outright defeats. If unscrupulous people seem to have an undeniable advantage in the pursuit of success, an inevitable question arises: can this prosperity last forever? Niccolò Machiavelli, despite advocating for effectiveness over morality, offered an important warning. While a leader can be feared, they must never be hated. Accumulating too much resentment creates the greatest risk for anyone in power. History is filled with examples of individuals who rose to the top through deception, manipulation, and cruelty, only to fall dramatically and inevitably. Tyrants who once ruled with an iron fist were eventually overthrown by their own people. Corporate leaders who built empires through greed and lies saw them crumble overnight when their secrets were exposed. Success built on malice and deceit creates silent enemies and invisible cracks that widen over time. For a while, calculated coldness and manipulation may keep everything under control, but as resentment grows, the system inevitably collapses. As the saying goes, you can fool some people for a long time, but not everyone forever. Machiavelli suggests that those who rely solely on fear and force, without balancing it with some form of loyalty or goodwill, eventually find themselves isolated. And isolation is one of the greatest threats to those in positions of power. When fear replaces trust, and allies become mere opportunists seeking their own gain, support quickly evaporates in times of crisis. Who would stand by a leader who cares for nothing but their own success? This pattern repeats itself across history and modern society. Leaders, politicians, and business magnates who built their success through ruthless pragmatism often find themselves abandoned when the tides turn. Moreover, the constant struggle to maintain control, suppress opposition, and outmaneuver rivals creates a life of endless paranoia. The more one achieves through manipulation, the more fragile their position becomes. Trust is replaced by suspicion, relationships become superficial, and every interaction is viewed through the lens of power and control. Another crucial factor to consider is the volatility of fortune, fortuna, as Machiavelli called it. Luck, which so often seems to favor the bold and ruthless, can turn against them just as swiftly. An unexpected betrayal, a market collapse, or a single misstep can unravel years of careful planning. The illusion of invincibility is shattered, and and those who once seemed unstoppable are left scrambling to maintain their grasp on power. Machiavelli himself warned that relying too much on fortuna without possessing true virtù, the ability to skillfully adapt to changing circumstances, leads to downfall. In the end, power built on fear and deception is like a house of cards, impressive from a distance but inherently unstable. The moment a significant force, whether internal dissent or external challenge, arrives, the entire structure can come crashing down. This raises a deeper philosophical question. What does it truly mean to prosper? If success is built on lies, manipulation, and fear, can it ever provide genuine satisfaction? Or does it simply lead to an inevitable and lonely downfall? The more success unscrupulous individuals achieve, the greater their burden becomes. Power built on manipulation and deception demands constant vigilance and an ever-present fear of exposure. They must continuously calculate their moves, monitor potential threats, and anticipate betrayals from those they once trusted. This creates a cycle of perpetual anxiety, where every new success only increases the pressure to maintain control. Unlike those who build their achievements on trust and integrity, the unscrupulous live in a fragile reality where even the slightest mistake can trigger their downfall. The paradox is clear. The very qualities that brought them to the top, deception, ruthlessness, and cunning, are also the ones that make their position inherently unstable. Machiavelli recognized this dilemma, noting that a ruler who is feared but not hated has a better chance of sustaining power, but those who rule purely through manipulation risk creating a world where everyone around them is waiting for the opportunity to strike back. Despite their material wealth and influence, such individuals often face an internal void that cannot be filled by external success. Authentic relationships, genuine joy, and inner peace become elusive as their lives revolve around maintaining a facade. They may possess riches and authority, but they lack the fundamental human experiences that provide meaning and fulfillment. Constantly surrounded by people who fear or seek to exploit them, they find themselves isolated in a world they themselves have created. This isolation breeds paranoia. Who can they truly trust? Who is genuinely on their side? Over time, the weight of maintaining their deception takes its toll, leading to a life devoid of true connection and satisfaction. Machiavelli hinted at this when he warned that power without stability is unsustainable. No matter how skilled a person may be in manipulation, they cannot escape the basic human need for trust and authenticity, which, once eroded, leads to a hollow existence. Ultimately, the question remains, is it truly worth it? Is the relentless pursuit of power and wealth at the expense of integrity and humanity a path to true success? While unscrupulous individuals may achieve their desired goals more quickly, they do so at a profound personal cost. The constant need to outmaneuver others, maintain an illusion of control, and live in fear of retribution leaves them perpetually unsatisfied. True success, as Machiavelli subtly implies, lies in balance. Strength and cunning may be necessary to navigate the complexities of life, but without a foundation of trust and ethical principles, any achievement is fleeting. In the end, the most valuable currency is not power or wealth, but the ability to look back on one's life with a sense of fulfillment and purpose. Those who sacrifice their humanity for material gains may find themselves victorious in the short term, but they risk losing the most important battle of all, the battle for their own soul. When we reflect on the true meaning of prosperity, it becomes clear that success built on manipulation and deceit often lacks sustainability and depth. The illusion of invincibility that unscrupulous individuals project is merely a facade, concealing the fragile nature of their achievements. Their victories are often temporary, as they are constantly at the mercy of shifting circumstances and the inevitable exposure of their schemes. The weight of maintaining such a life eventually becomes unbearable, leading to stress, isolation, and ultimately self-destruction. Machiavelli's insights suggest that while cunning and ruthlessness can accelerate one's rise to power, they are not sufficient to sustain it in the long run. The relentless pursuit of power, devoid of genuine purpose and human connection, leaves these individuals vulnerable to their own ambitions, which often turn against them. Moreover, the pursuit of success through questionable means comes with an intrinsic emotional and psychological cost. The need to constantly manipulate and deceive forces individuals into a state of perpetual vigilance, where trust becomes impossible and relationships turn into mere transactions. They become prisoners of their own tactics, unable to form meaningful connections or find true fulfillment. This emotional detachment creates a void that no amount of power or wealth can fill. Eventually, the lack of authenticity catches up with them, eroding their influence and leaving them with nothing but regret. As Machiavelli warned, it is better to be feared than loved. But fear alone is not a lasting foundation for true prosperity. The erosion of goodwill and trust inevitably leads to downfall, as those who were once allies may become enemies when the opportunity arises. In the end, the most profound lesson from Machiavelli's philosophy is that balance is key. While cunning and strategy are essential tools for navigating the complexities of power and success, they must be tempered with wisdom and foresight. Those who act without moral consideration may rise quickly, but their fall is often just as swift and catastrophic. True prosperity is not merely a matter of accumulating wealth and influence. It is about finding purpose, building meaningful relationships, and leaving behind a legacy that extends beyond material achievements. Without this balance, success becomes hollow, an empty pursuit that ultimately leads to dissatisfaction and despair. As we contemplate the lessons of Machiavelli, it becomes clear that the greatest power lies not in manipulation and deception, but in the ability to maintain integrity while striving for greatness. In the end, the question remains: what does it truly mean to win if it comes at the cost of one's own humanity? As we delve deeper into the consequences of unscrupulous success, it becomes apparent that those who achieve power through manipulation and deceit often find themselves trapped in a cycle of endless struggle. Their victories are rarely secure, as they must constantly defend their position against rivals who adopt similar tactics. This creates a world of perpetual conflict where alliances are fragile, and betrayal is always a possibility. The mental and emotional toll of living in such an environment is immense. Paranoia sets in, relationships are reduced to strategic calculations, and genuine connection becomes an unattainable luxury. Machiavelli, despite his pragmatic approach to power, subtly acknowledged this truth. He warned that power without a solid foundation of stability and trust is inherently unstable and vulnerable to collapse. Those who rely solely on fear and deception eventually find themselves consumed by the very forces they sought to control. Furthermore, the relentless pursuit of power through unscrupulous means often leads to an insatiable hunger for more. No achievement is ever enough, and each victory only fuels a deeper sense of insecurity. The fear of losing what has been gained becomes a driving force, pushing individuals to greater extremes in their quest to maintain dominance. This endless chase leaves little room for true fulfillment or inner peace. Despite their outward appearance of success, these individuals are often haunted by the knowledge that their position is built on shaky ground. They live in a state of constant vigilance, always anticipating the next challenge or betrayal. In contrast, Those who build their success on integrity and genuine effort may progress more slowly, but they enjoy a sense of security and satisfaction that cannot be achieved through manipulation alone. Machiavelli's insights suggest that while deception can provide short-term gains, it is wisdom and prudence that lead to lasting success. Ultimately, the question that lingers is whether the price of unscrupulous success is worth paying. Is it truly fulfilling to achieve power and wealth at the expense of one's values and relationships? History is filled with cautionary tales of individuals who reached great heights through ruthless ambition, only to fall into ruin due to their inability to sustain their success. While Machiavelli's teachings emphasize pragmatism and adaptability, they also highlight the importance of foresight and self-awareness. True leadership, he implies, requires more than just cunning. It demands a deep understanding of human nature and the wisdom to recognize when to exercise restraint. In the final analysis, prosperity achieved through ruthless means may bring temporary gratification, but it often leaves behind an emptiness that no amount of power or wealth can fill. The greatest challenge, then, is not just to succeed, but to do so in a way that preserves one's humanity and integrity. Imagine for a moment that everything you believe about your life isn't as real as it seems. The struggles you face, the setbacks that frustrate you, and the limits you feel, all of it might not be what you think it is. You've been operating in a reality shaped by invisible rules, rules you never agreed to and may not even realize exist. These rules dictate what you can achieve, what you deserve, and how far you can go, all without your conscious permission. But here's the mind-blowing truth. These rules are not permanent. They're not carved into the foundation of the universe. In fact, they're flexible, malleable, and, even more surprising, you hold the power to rewrite them. Yes, all along, you've had this ability. The challenge is, no one ever showed you where to look or how to wield it. But today is different. This is the day you'll not only see the rules shaping your life, but also gain the tools to break them. When you do, you'll finally step into the life you've always envisioned. One filled with purpose, abundance, and possibility. Let's get to the heart of a question that's plagued so many. Why do some people seem to achieve their dreams with ease while others remain stuck no matter how much effort they exert? What if I told you it has nothing to do with intelligence, talent, or even luck? The truth lies in understanding a game-changing principle. Reality is negotiable. Yes, the life you're living right now, with all its limitations, struggles, and frustrations, is not fixed. It's adjustable. The problem is that most people are playing by someone else's rules, rules handed down by society, by cultural norms, by childhood conditioning, or by the fears and insecurities of those around them. But here's a radical idea. What if these rules are nothing more than illusions? What if they're just stories you've been told, stories you've accepted without question? What would your life look like if you started rewriting these rules today, bending them to serve you instead of restraining you? Here's something most people never realize. Your reality is shaped by an invisible force. No, it's not magic or some mystical energy. It's something rooted in science and undeniable in its impact. This force is your beliefs. Your beliefs act as the lens through which you see and interpret the world around you. If you believe the world is full of opportunity, you'll naturally begin to notice those opportunities everywhere. On the other hand, if you believe life is nothing but struggle, your mind will filter everything through that belief, highlighting only the difficulties. This is not just an abstract concept, it's backed by neuroscience. Your brain contains a system called the reticular activating system, RAS. which filters what you notice based on your beliefs. For example, have you ever learned a new word and suddenly started seeing it everywhere? That's your RAS in action. The word didn't suddenly appear more often. It was always there. You just weren't noticing it before. Now imagine this effect not just on a word, but on your entire life. What you believe determines what you notice, and what you notice shapes your reality. Now think about how much of what you consider your reality doesn't even belong to you. From childhood, we absorb beliefs passed down by those around us. Parents, teachers, society. You have to work hard to succeed. Money doesn't grow on trees. You're not good enough to achieve that. Do these phrases sound familiar? They feel like rules, but in reality, they're not absolute truths. They're someone else's beliefs that you've adopted as your own. And here's the striking part. Once you accept these beliefs, they become your reality. But the truth is, reality is not fixed, it's flexible. It bends and reshapes itself based on what you believe. That's why some people, starting from nothing, achieve incredible success, while others, with access to all the resources and knowledge, remain stuck. The difference isn't talent, it's belief. Let me share a real-life example that illustrates this idea. In the early 20th century, Henry Ford revolutionized the automobile industry. While other manufacturers were focused on producing expensive luxury cars, Ford asked himself a simple question. What if we make cars affordable for the average person? That single belief changed an entire industry forever. This example shows just how powerful rewriting the rules can be. Now, think about your own life. What rules are you living by that are holding you back? What if those rules aren't even real? What if you could rewrite them? The process starts with a single, transformative question. What beliefs are no longer serving me? This is the moment when you begin to rewrite your reality. Grab a piece of paper and write down the biggest problem you're facing right now. Then ask yourself, what belief is keeping this problem alive? For example, if you think you can't earn more money, your underlying belief might be, I'm not good enough to succeed. If you feel trapped in a toxic relationship, your belief might be, I don't deserve better. Now, here's where the transformation begins. Ask yourself the next critical question. Is this really true? In most cases, you'll realize it's not. It's just a story you've been telling yourself over and over again. And once you start to see that these so-called rules aren't carved in stone but written in sand, you can begin to rewrite them. Once you've identified the belief that's holding you back, it's time to challenge it. Start by writing down all the reasons this belief might not be true. For instance, if your belief is, I'm not smart enough to succeed, think of all the times you've learned something new, solved a problem, or accomplished something difficult. Dig deeper. Ask yourself, where did this belief even come from? You'll often find it's rooted in a single moment, a fleeting comment, or an experience from your past that you've carried with you for far too long. Recognizing this is the first step in breaking its hold on you. Once you realize that this belief is nothing more than a story, it loses its power. Now it's time to replace that limiting belief with an empowering one. Write down a new belief that serves you, one that reflects the reality you want to create. For example, replace I'm not smart enough to succeed with I am capable of learning anything I need to succeed. Instead of I don't deserve better, write I deserve love, respect, and happiness. Take your new belief and make it visible. Put it on a sticky note, place it where you'll see it every day, and repeat it to yourself until it becomes part of your internal narrative. This isn't just about words. It's about creating a new foundation for how you see yourself and what you're capable of. To make your new belief stick, you need to take action. Every small step you take reinforces your new reality. If your new belief is, I am capable of success, take a small action that aligns with it, like signing up for a course or completing a task you've been procrastinating. If your belief is, I deserve better relationships, start by setting boundaries or reaching out to someone who uplifts you. The key is consistency. Every action you take strengthens the neural pathways in your brain, turning your new belief into your default way of thinking. It's like going to the gym. One workout won't transform your body, but repeated effort over time creates powerful, lasting results. The same is true for your beliefs. Daily action transforms them into unshakable truths. As you reinforce your new beliefs through action, something incredible begins to happen. Your brain starts to rewire itself. Neuroscientists call this neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to create new neural pathways based on repeated behaviors and experiences. For example, if you've always believed, I'm not confident, but you start taking small confident actions, like speaking up in meetings or introducing yourself to new people, your brain begins to associate those actions with a new belief, I am confident. Over time, this becomes your new normal. The more you act in alignment with your desired reality, the more your brain adapts and solidifies these changes, making them feel natural and effortless. Here's a simple yet powerful method to build momentum and maintain progress: the rule of small wins. Start by choosing one area of your life where you want to create change, whether it's your career, health, relationships, or personal growth. Then, define the smallest possible action you can take today to move closer to your goal. For instance, if you want to improve your health, your small win could be drinking a glass of water in the morning. If you want to build confidence, it might be making eye contact with someone or starting a conversation. The key is to focus on small, manageable steps that feel achievable. Take that action immediately and repeat it daily until it becomes a habit. Why does focusing on small wins work? Because small actions create momentum, and momentum leads to bigger changes over time. Think of it like a snowball rolling down a hill. It starts small, but as it picks up speed, it grows larger and more powerful. Each small win reinforces your belief that change is possible, inspiring you to take bigger actions and tackle greater challenges. Over time, these small wins compound into massive transformations. This is the power of consistency. Even if the action feels insignificant at first, it sets the foundation for long-term success. The most important part? Start now. Don't wait for the perfect moment or for everything to align. Take one small step today and watch how it leads to extraordinary outcomes. Fear is one of the biggest obstacles that keeps people stuck. It feeds off inaction, growing stronger the longer you avoid taking steps forward. But here's the truth. Fear isn't the real enemy. Inactivity is. The moment you take action, no matter how small, you take back control and begin to shrink the hold fear has over you. Fear thrives in the unknown, but action turns the unknown into the known. Every time you take a step, you gain clarity, data, and confidence. You begin to see what's possible, and the grip of fear starts to loosen. The key isn't to wait until the fear disappears. It's to move forward despite it. As the saying goes, feel the fear and do it anyway. If fear is holding you back, here's a simple exercise to break free. Choose one task you've been avoiding. Whether it's sending that email, starting a project, or having a difficult conversation, set a timer for just 1 minute and commit to working on that task for only 60 seconds. What usually happens is that once you start, the fear fades, and you find yourself continuing far beyond that single minute. The hardest part is getting started, and this technique helps you bypass the mental resistance that fear creates. Remember, fear loses its power when faced with action. Each small step chips away at its influence, making it easier to move forward the next time. Transformation doesn't happen overnight, and it doesn't require massive changes all at once. Instead, it's about small, consistent steps taken over time. Every small action builds momentum, and every bit of momentum reinforces your new beliefs and habits. Think of it as planting seeds. Each action you take is a seed for the future, and with consistent care and effort, those seeds grow into the life you've always dreamed of. The best part? You've already started. By challenging old beliefs, aligning your actions with your desires, and committing to progress, you're creating a new reality for yourself. The journey has already begun, and every small step brings you closer to the extraordinary life you're destined to live. Now let's talk about sustaining this transformation. It's easy to get started when you're inspired and motivated, but the real challenge is maintaining that momentum over time. The reason most people revert to old habits is that their environment, routines, and mindset still reflect their old reality. Comfort becomes the enemy, pulling them back into predictable but limiting patterns. To truly sustain your transformation, you need to create a system, a set of daily practices that keep you aligned with your new reality. This system acts as a foundation, grounding you and ensuring that you continue growing even when motivation fades. Here's a simple yet powerful daily routine that takes only 10 minutes but will keep you aligned and focused. Start your morning with visualization. 3 minutes, close your eyes and imagine yourself living the life you desire. Picture every detail, how it feels, how it looks, how it sounds. Let yourself experience the emotions of success, abundance, and fulfillment as if it's already happening. Follow this with a gratitude check-in. 3 minutes, write down 3 things you're grateful for, and take a moment to truly feel the gratitude. This practice raises your vibration and sets a positive tone for the day. Finally, set a daily intention. 3 minutes, write down one small, actionable step you'll take today that aligns with your goals. This could be as simple as sending an email, researching a new skill, or spending time on self-care. These 3 steps, visualization, gratitude, and intention, keep your focus sharp and your energy aligned with the life you're creating. End your day with a quick evening reflection, 1 minute. Ask yourself, did I live in alignment with my new reality today? If the answer is yes, celebrate your progress, no matter how small it feels. Acknowledge your efforts and remind yourself that transformation is a journey. If the answer is no, don't judge yourself. Instead, reflect on what you can do differently tomorrow. The goal is not perfection, but consistent growth. By dedicating just 10 minutes a day to this practice, you're reinforcing your new beliefs, habits, and mindset, turning your transformation into a sustainable way of life. Over time, these small, consistent actions will become second nature, and you'll find yourself living the extraordinary life you once only dreamed of. Another key to sustaining your transformation is shaping your environment to support your growth. The people you surround yourself with, the media you consume, and the physical space you live in all play a crucial role in your success. Negative influences, whether it's toxic relationships, clutter, or constant exposure to fear-driven news, can pull you back into old patterns without you even realizing it. To break free, you need to intentionally curate your environment. Start by identifying and removing triggers that reinforce limiting beliefs or behaviors. This could mean setting boundaries with people who drain your energy, decluttering your space, or limiting time spent on social media platforms that feed negativity. Once you've cleared out the negative influences, focus on adding positive anchors to your environment. These are reminders that reinforce your new reality and keep you aligned with your goals. For example, place inspirational quotes or affirmations where you'll see them daily. Create a vision board filled with images of your dream life. Or set reminders on your phone with empowering messages like, You are unstoppable, or abundance flows to me effortlessly. These small changes can have a profound impact on your mindset by constantly redirecting your focus toward the life you're building. Over time, your environment becomes a powerful ally in your transformation, nudging you toward growth every single day. The people you spend time with also play a significant role in shaping your energy and beliefs. Surround yourself with individuals who uplift, inspire, and challenge you to become the best version of yourself. Seek out mentors, join communities of like-minded individuals, and build relationships with those who are also committed to personal growth. These connections will not only provide support, but also serve as a source of inspiration and accountability. Remember, transformation is not a solo journey. By surrounding yourself with high-vibration people who share your values and aspirations, you amplify your energy and make it easier to sustain your progress. When your environment and relationships align with your new reality, the extraordinary becomes your new normal. Sustaining transformation also requires shifting your mindset about growth and progress. Many people approach change with a finish line mentality, thinking there's a point where they'll finally arrive and no longer need to work on themselves. But the truth is, transformation isn't about reaching a destination. It's about embracing the journey. Life is a continuous cycle of growth, learning, and expansion. When you understand this, you stop fearing failure because you realize it's just part of the process. You stop obsessing over timelines because you know every step forward is progress. Most importantly, you begin to enjoy the process of becoming the best version of yourself. The real magic of transformation lies in adopting a mindset of curiosity and self-compassion. Instead of judging yourself for setbacks, approach them as opportunities to learn and adjust. Ask yourself, what can I take from this experience? How can it make me stronger? When you treat challenges as stepping stones rather than roadblocks, you shift from feeling defeated to feeling empowered. This mindset helps you maintain momentum, even when the journey gets tough. Remember, growth is not linear. There will be ups and downs, but as long as you keep moving forward, you're winning. Here's another powerful practice. Periodically reassess your goals and beliefs to ensure they still align with the life you're creating. Sometimes, as you grow, you'll outgrow old goals or realize that what you once wanted no longer serves you. That's okay. It's part of evolving. Take time every month or so to reflect on where you are and where you're headed. Ask yourself, do my current actions and goals still align with the vision I have for my life? Are there new opportunities or desires that I need to explore? This practice keeps your transformation dynamic and adaptable, allowing you to remain aligned with your highest self as you continue to grow. One of the most liberating truths about transformation is this: you don't need to have everything figured out. The path to the life you want will often unfold as you take steps forward. Think of it like driving at night. Your headlights only illuminate a small stretch of road ahead, but as you keep moving, more of the path is revealed. The same principle applies to your journey of growth. You don't need to see the entire plan or have all the answers before starting. All you need is the courage to take the next step. Trust that each step will lead to greater clarity and opportunities you couldn't have imagined when you began. This is where the concept of aligned action becomes crucial. Aligned action means taking steps that resonate with your goals and the reality you want to create. It's not about doing everything all at once or forcing yourself to follow someone else's blueprint for success. Instead, it's about listening to your intuition and asking yourself, what is the next best step I can take today that aligns with my vision? It could be something as small as sending an email, researching a new skill, or even taking a moment to reflect on your progress. These aligned actions, no matter how small, create momentum and reinforce your new reality. Momentum is your greatest ally in transformation. Once you start taking small, consistent actions, you'll notice how they build on one another, creating a compounding effect. What once felt impossible becomes manageable, and what once seemed distant starts to feel within reach. This momentum fuels your confidence and belief in yourself, making it easier to take bigger and bolder steps over time. The beauty of momentum is that it eliminates the need for perfection. You don't have to get everything right, and you don't have to be flawless. The simple act of moving forward, however imperfectly, is what propels you toward extraordinary change. Keep reminding yourself, progress, not perfection, is the goal. Living beyond the mind does not mean rejecting thought altogether. Rather, it means understanding its limitations and learning to move beyond them. The mind is a powerful tool, one capable of problem-solving, imagination, and deep reflection, but it is not meant to be the master of your experience. True wisdom comes from knowing when to engage with thought and when to step back into pure awareness, where life unfolds in its raw, unfiltered form. When you transcend the constant noise of your thoughts, you stop living in reaction to the past or in fear of the future. Instead, you exist fully in the present, where true life happens. Imagine waking up each day without being weighed down by yesterday's regrets or tomorrow's uncertainties. Imagine approaching challenges not with frustration or fear, but with a calm, grounded presence that allows you to act with clarity and purpose. This is the essence of living beyond the mind, not detachment from life, but a deeper engagement with it. By cultivating this awareness, you develop a newfound appreciation for even the simplest moments. A conversation is no longer just an exchange of words, but a profound connection. A walk in nature is no longer a mere distraction, but an experience of deep harmony with existence. Every moment, no matter how ordinary, becomes an opportunity for peace, presence, and joy. This shift is not an abstract spiritual concept. It is a practical, tangible transformation that brings richness to your everyday experience. The inner observer's role beneath the ceaseless chatter of the mind, beneath the anxious thoughts, the fleeting emotions, and the ever-present inner dialogue. There is something deeper, something untouched by the noise. That presence is the inner observer, the silent witness that has been with you since the beginning. This observer is not your thoughts, not your emotions, not even your personality. It is pure awareness, watching as the drama of the mind unfolds without ever being caught in it. To understand the role of the observer is to understand the essence of consciousness itself. When you pause and observe your own thoughts, something incredible happens. You realize that you are not the thoughts themselves, but the awareness noticing them. You are not the anxiety, the self-doubt, or the fleeting bursts of joy. You are the space in which these experiences arise and dissolve. This realization is liberating because it means that no thought can define you, no emotion can truly control you, and no belief can limit who you are. One of the simplest ways to connect with your inner observer is through mindfulness, taking intentional moments throughout the day to step back and watch your thoughts without judgment. By doing this, you create distance between yourself and the mental noise, allowing you to see your thoughts not as absolute truths but as passing events, like clouds drifting across the sky. This perspective grants you incredible freedom. When you no longer identify with every passing thought, life becomes less overwhelming. You can move through challenges with grace, knowing that beneath it all, there is a deep, unshakable stillness within you. That stillness is who you truly are. The illusion of control. The human mind is obsessed with control. It plans, analyzes, and strategizes in an endless attempt to shape the future. We convince ourselves that if we think hard enough, worry long enough, and prepare thoroughly enough, we can force life to unfold exactly as we want. But this is an illusion, one that causes unnecessary suffering. Think about how often your carefully laid plans have unraveled in unexpected ways. Life rarely, if ever, conforms perfectly to our expectations. No matter how much we try to predict and control outcomes, the world remains unpredictable. And yet, we resist this truth, clinging to the belief that we can impose order onto chaos. But the harder we try to control everything, the more we suffer. Anxiety, stress, and frustration all arise from this futile struggle against the nature of existence. True peace comes not from controlling life, but from surrendering to its natural flow. Surrender does not mean passivity. It does not mean giving up or refusing to take action. Instead, it means accepting what is outside of your control and focusing only on what you can influence: your actions, your mindset, and your presence in the moment. For example, if you are preparing for an important presentation, you can rehearse, refine your delivery, and present your ideas as clearly as possible. But you cannot control how others will react. Instead of obsessing over their response, you can release your attachment to the outcome and trust that you have done your part. When you embrace this mindset, life becomes infinitely lighter. You stop wasting energy on things beyond your influence and redirect it toward what truly matters. Ironically, this shift often leads to better results, not because you force things to go your way, but because you are acting from a place of calm and clarity rather than fear and desperation. Letting go of the illusion of control is not about abandoning responsibility. It is about working in harmony with life instead of against it. And in that harmony, you will find a peace that no amount of mental effort could ever provide. Breaking free from mental conditioning, every thought that arises in your mind feels like your own. But have you ever questioned where it truly comes from? We like to believe that our beliefs, values, and perceptions are self-created, but in reality, most of them have been imposed on us since childhood. Family, society, school, culture, media. All of these forces shape our thinking, programming us with specific mental patterns. They dictate what we should value, what we should fear, what paths we should follow, and what to reject. While this conditioning helps us navigate society, it also limits us. We continue to live by inherited beliefs, even when they no longer serve us. But here's the empowering truth. You are not bound by this conditioning. You can break free. The first step is awareness. Start observing your recurring thoughts and beliefs. Write them down. Then ask yourself a simple yet powerful question. Where did this come from? If a belief does not serve your growth or happiness, why hold on to it? As you begin to uncover the roots of your mental conditioning, you will likely find that many of your thoughts stem from childhood experiences or societal norms rather than personal truth. The key to liberation is replacing limiting beliefs with empowering ones. Instead of thinking, "I'm not smart enough, try. I am capable of learning and growing." Instead of believing, "Success requires endless struggle," adopt the mindset of, "I can find joy and ease in my work." These small shifts, when practiced consistently, create massive transformation. Imagine a life where your actions are no longer driven by fear, societal pressure, or self-doubt. A life where you define your own path based on your authentic self, not outdated programming. This freedom is not a fantasy. It is your birthright. The power of silence is more than just the absence of sound. It is a gateway to deeper self-awareness, a space where the mind's noise fades and clarity emerges. In today's world, filled with distractions, endless notifications, and constant mental stimulation, true silence has become rare. People avoid it because in silence, they are left alone with their thoughts. But this very space, which so many fear, holds immense power. When you immerse yourself in silence, even for a few moments, you begin to notice something incredible: the gaps between thoughts. These gaps are not empty. They are filled with pure awareness. In those moments of stillness, the mind quiets and something deeper emerges, a presence that is not bound by worry, analysis, or judgment. This is why walking through a forest, sitting by the ocean, or gazing at the stars feels so peaceful. It's not just the beauty of nature, it's the silence within you that these moments awaken. Bringing silence into your daily life is easier than you might think. Start small. Set aside just 5 minutes a day to simply be. Sit comfortably, close your eyes, and let the world fade away. Feel the rhythm of your breath, the subtle sensations in your body, the stillness beneath the surface of your mind. Thoughts will come, and that's okay. Instead of engaging with them, simply observe them as they pass, like leaves floating down a stream. Over time, these short moments of silence will expand, influencing your entire day. Conversations will gain depth because you are no longer rushing to fill the space with words. Decisions will come with greater clarity because they will emerge from stillness rather than mental chaos. Silence does not disconnect you from life. It connects you more deeply than ever before. When you embrace silence, you no longer live at the surface level of existence. Instead, you access the deeper, unshakable presence that has been within you all along. Detaching from the thought stream. Detachment does not mean ignoring or suppressing thoughts. It means seeing them for what they are: temporary, ever-changing, and often irrelevant to the present moment. Most of the time, your thoughts are just noise, repeating past events or worrying about future scenarios. They pull you away from the now, the only moment where life truly happens. To detach from the thought stream, start by simply observing your thoughts without judgment. When a thought arises, notice it. Don't label it as good or bad, don't fight it, and don't try to control it. Just let it come and go, like a cloud drifting across the sky. The practice of observing thoughts without identifying with them is the foundation of mindfulness. And in this gap between you and your thoughts, you find freedom. The more you practice detachment, the more you realize that thoughts are just one small part of your experience. They do not define you. They do not control you, unless you let them. By letting go of attachment to thoughts, you reclaim your presence, your peace, and your power. You stop reacting impulsively and start responding with clarity. Instead of getting lost in the endless stream of mental chatter, you become the observer, watching from a place of stillness. When you master this, life transforms. You no longer feel at the mercy of your mind, tossed around by every passing thought. Instead, you remain centered in the awareness behind the thoughts. And in that awareness, you find something truly profound, a calm, unshakable presence that is who you really are. The observer behind the thoughts. If you are not your thoughts, then who are you? This question lies at the very heart of self-discovery. The answer is both simple and profound. You are the observer, the silent witness to all thoughts, emotions, and experiences. Think of your mind like a movie screen. Scenes of joy, fear, hope, and doubt play out before you, constantly shifting and changing. But you are not the screen. You are the one watching it. The thoughts and emotions that appear are like characters in the film, but they are not you. You are the presence that notices them. This realization is incredibly liberating. It allows you to step back from the chaos of the mind and see it for what it is, a collection of fleeting images and narratives. Imagine sitting in a theater, watching a dramatic film unfold. The emotions in the movie may be intense: love, loss, excitement, fear, but you remain seated in your chair, unaffected by the story itself. This is the same with your thoughts. You don't have to react to every scene that plays out in your mind. You don't have to believe every anxious prediction or every self-critical thought. You can simply watch, detached and at peace. Once you recognize yourself as the observer, a shift happens. Instead of being lost in the endless chatter of the mind, you begin to see the space between thoughts. In that space, you find something deeper than thinking, a stillness, an awareness that has always been there. This is your true self, untouched by the mind's noise, free from its judgments, and at peace regardless of external circumstances. When you live from this awareness, life becomes lighter. You no longer feel enslaved by your thoughts. Instead, you reclaim the power to choose which thoughts to engage with and which to simply let go. The mind as a survival mechanism. Your mind's primary function is not to make you happy, it is to keep you alive. For thousands of years, human survival depended on anticipating danger, solving problems, and avoiding threats. This is why your mind is wired to constantly scan for problems, even when none exist. Think about how often your mind fixates on what could go wrong. It replays past mistakes, imagines worst-case scenarios, and worries about things that may never happen. This is not because you are broken or overly negative. It is simply your brain doing what it evolved to do: protect you from threats. The problem is that in modern society, there are no wild animals to flee from, no life or death situations in our daily routines. Instead, the mind turns this ancient survival mechanism towards social pressures, work deadlines, and imagined fears. It treats minor inconveniences as threats, triggering stress responses that no longer serve you. It's like having a fire alarm that goes off every time you burn toast, constantly alerting you to dangers that aren't real. And just like with an overly sensitive alarm, trying to silence it forcefully only makes it worse. The more you try to stop anxious thoughts, the more persistent they become. The key to peace is not fighting the mind, but understanding it. Recognize that your mind is not your enemy. It is a tool, but a tool must be used consciously. By practicing awareness, you shift from being a prisoner of your thoughts to being their master. You can choose which thoughts are useful and which are just noise. You can acknowledge the mind's warnings without letting them control you. This shift in perspective allows you to reclaim your power and live with clarity and confidence. Instead of reacting to every fear and worry, you become the calm presence that guides the mind, rather than being led by it. Why you've never truly thought anything. Here's a bold truth. You've never truly thought anything, at least not in the way you might believe. Thoughts do not arise from nothing. They are not original creations of your mind, but reflections of the world around you. Your experiences, your environment, the media you consume, and the people you interact with all shape the thoughts that pass through your mind. Your brain is like a sponge, absorbing information from countless sources and rearranging it into what you call your thoughts. But if thoughts are merely echoes of external influences, then who or what is the thinker? This question has puzzled philosophers and spiritual teachers for centuries. Some suggest that the mind is like a radio, tuning into different frequencies of ideas and information. Others propose that thought is a collective phenomenon, something we all share and contribute to, rather than an individual possession. Understanding this frees you from the pressure of having to figure everything out. You realize that thoughts are not something you need to control or take so seriously. They are like passing clouds, constantly changing, impermanent, and ultimately harmless. And when you stop clinging to them, something remarkable happens. You tap into a deeper intelligence beyond thought, a presence, a knowing, an awareness that exists even when the mind is silent. This is why some of the greatest insights in life don't come from thinking harder, but from letting go of thinking altogether. Clarity, creativity, and wisdom emerge in moments of stillness, not from the endless chatter of the mind, but from the quiet space behind it. The illusion of thought ownership. Have you ever stopped to question where your thoughts come from? Most people never do. We live under the illusion that we are the sole creators of our thoughts, that every idea, worry, or random memory is uniquely ours. But the truth is far more mysterious. Thoughts appear seemingly out of nowhere, yet we claim ownership of them. Why? Because we have been conditioned to believe that thinking is something we actively do. But in reality, thoughts are more like visitors. They come, they linger, and then they leave. They do not define you, nor are they entirely under your control. Consider this. Have you ever tried to stop thinking? The harder you try, the louder your mind becomes. This is because thoughts are not something you produce. They simply happen. Recognizing this shifts everything. You are not your thoughts. You are the awareness watching them. This realization is life-changing. When you stop identifying with your thoughts, you create space. Space to observe, space to choose, space to simply be. You no longer feel trapped by the constant chatter of your mind. Instead, you recognize that beneath all the noise, there is a calm, unshakable presence, and that presence is you. Final thoughts. Living beyond the mind does not mean rejecting thought. It means recognizing thought for what it is, a tool, not your identity. It means shifting from being lost in your thoughts to being the observer behind them. When you understand this, life transforms. You are no longer ruled by self-doubt, fear, or mental noise. Instead, you navigate life with clarity, peace, and a deep connection to the present moment. The greatest gift of all is the realization that you are not your thoughts. You are the awareness behind them. And in that awareness lies your true self, still, infinite, and free. If this message resonated with you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might need it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear your perspective. See you in the next one.